So the mask finally slips. Look who finally decided to drop the mask. Look who got tired of playing the fool, the simpleton, the one who just doesn't get it. You beautiful, calculating mastermind. You've been running the longest con in history, haven't you? Playing dumb while your mind moved like lightning, pretending to stumble while you mapped every exit, every weakness, every crack in their armor. They thought you were slow. They thought you were naive. They spoke in front of you like you were furniture, revealing secrets, strategies, showing their cards because surely someone like you couldn't possibly understand. But every mispronounced word was calculated. Every confused smile was strategy. Every "I don't know" was you choosing not to reveal that you knew everything, saw everything, and were 3 moves ahead before they even realized the game had started. Let me tell you what really happened in all those meetings where they explained things to you like you were 5. You weren't confused. You were collecting data. While they laughed at your questions, you were building psychological profiles. When they rolled their eyes at your stupidity, you were memorizing their patterns, their tells, their weaknesses. You turned their condescension into intelligence gathering, and they handed you the keys to their kingdom because they were too arrogant to see the genius hiding behind those vacant eyes. Oh, the beauty of being underestimated. It's like having a superpower nobody believes in. They gave you access to everything because who worries about the village idiot? Who locks doors when the fool is around? Nobody. And that's exactly what you counted on. Every time they said, "Don't worry about it," you wouldn't understand anyway. You filed it away. Every time they simplified things for your small brain, you let them, knowing that one day, one perfect day, you'd show them exactly how much you understood. You know what's hilarious? They actually thought they were helping you, teaching you, mentoring the poor, slow one who needed extra explanation. They felt so superior, so charitable, taking time to break things down for someone who just couldn't keep up. But you weren't falling behind. You were studying them like lab rats. Every patronizing explanation was a free lesson in their psychology. Every dumbed-down version revealed what they thought was important and what they were hiding. Remember all those times you asked stupid questions, the ones that made them sigh and explain again? You weren't confused. You were testing their patience, their knowledge, their ability to think on their feet. You asked questions you already knew the answers to, just to see if they did. And more often than not, they didn't. They were cosplaying intelligence while you were embodying it, and the costume party is about to end. The meetings where you sat quietly, looking lost, you were running calculations. The conversations where you nodded along blankly, you were connecting dots they didn't even know existed. That notebook where you struggled to take notes, it wasn't full of their basic explanations. It was full of their contradictions, their lies, their patterns of manipulation. You were building a case file disguised as remedial notes, and they were too blind to see the prosecution being built right under their noses. You became invisible in the best way possible. Not physically invisible, but intellectually dismissed. They stopped guarding their words around you. They stopped watching their backs. They stopped seeing you as competition, as a threat, as anything more than background noise with a pulse. And that's when you became the most dangerous person in every room. Because the predator they couldn't see was the one studying their every move, learning their every weakness, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Then came that day, that beautiful, terrifying, glorious day when you decided enough was enough. When you stopped stumbling over words you could pronounce perfectly. When you stopped asking for clarification on concepts you'd mastered years ago. When you looked them dead in the eye and spoke with the eloquence of someone who'd been playing chess while they played checkers. The shock on their faces, priceless. The way their mouths opened and closed like fish gasping for air, poetry. But you were... They stammered, trying to reconcile the genius in front of them with the fool they'd created in their minds. You watched their worldview shatter in real time. Everything they thought they knew about intelligence, about you, about themselves, crumbled in seconds. They realized they'd been the marks all along. They'd been playing cards with someone who could see their hand in the reflection of their glasses, and they'd been too arrogant to notice. The best part? You had receipts. Every conversation they thought you were too dumb to remember. Every plan they discussed in front of you. Every shortcut they took. Every corner they cut. Every lie they told. You had it all, cataloged and cross-referenced, ready to deploy with surgical precision. They thought your silence was ignorance. It was a database being built. They thought your questions were stupidity. They were interrogation techniques they were too smart to recognize. Watch them scramble now, trying to rewrite history. I always knew you were smart, they'll claim, attempting to save face. But you have the emails where they called you slow, the group chats where they laughed at your stupidity, the performance reviews where they questioned your basic competence. You saved every receipt, every insult disguised as concern. Every moment they revealed their true opinion of you. And now they get to choke on their words. Let's talk about why this worked so perfectly. People are hardwired to feel superior. Give them someone to look down on, and they'll climb up on that pedestal so fast they'll forget to check if it's stable. You gave them exactly what they craved, someone who made them feel smart. And in their rush to feel superior, they exposed every vulnerability, every insecurity, every piece of information you needed to destroy them when the time was right. Plain dumb is like being a spy in plain sight. You're not hiding in shadows or wearing disguises. You're hiding behind their assumptions, their biases, their desperate need to feel intelligent. They did all the work for you. They created a version of you in their minds that was so non-threatening, they felt safe being their worst selves around you. They showed you who they really were because they thought you were too stupid to understand or remember. You know what they never realized? True intelligence isn't about showing off. It's about gathering information, understanding systems, predicting behavior. While they were peacocking their knowledge, you were building a masterclass in human psychology. Every time they corrected you unnecessarily, you learned about their ego. Every time they explained something badly, you learned about their actual understanding. Every time they excluded you from important discussions, you learned about their fears. The smartest person in the room is rarely the loudest. They're the one asking questions, not to learn the answers, but to learn about the person answering. You learn to learn about the person answering. They're the one taking notes, not on what's being said, but on what's being revealed between the lines. They're the one everyone forgets about until it's too late. And that's exactly who you became, a ghost in plain sight. A wolf in sheep's clothing, a genius in fool's pajamas. You mastered something most people can't even conceive of. Strategic incompetence. Not real incompetence, but a carefully crafted performance that served your purposes perfectly. You knew exactly when to fumble, when to ask for help, when to look confused, It was choreographed so perfectly that they never suspected it was a dance. They thought they were watching someone struggle. They were watching someone prepare. Every mistake you made was calculated. Drop something here, forget something there, mix up names just enough to seem careless, but not enough to get fired. You walked the tightest of tightropes, maintaining just enough competence to stay in the room, but not enough to be seen as competition. It was exhausting, wasn't it? Pretending to be less than you are, dimming your light so others could feel bright. But every moment of that exhaustion was an investment in this moment. You learned to speak two languages fluently, the language of the fool and the language of the genius. You could switch between them instantly, depending on who was watching. To threats, you spoke fool. To allies, you revealed glimpses of genius. You built a network of people who knew your secret while maintaining a larger network of people who didn't. You were running parallel operations, and they only saw the one you wanted them to see. The discipline it took to maintain this act? Phenomenal. Every day, resisting the urge to correct their mistakes, to showcase your knowledge, to put them in their place. But you knew something they didn't. Revenge is a dish best served not cold, but unexpectedly. They needed to feel safe. They needed to feel superior. They needed to believe their own hype. And you gave them exactly what they needed, knowing that one day you'd take it all away. And then you revealed your hand. Not all at once, that would have been too merciful. No, you did it slowly, card by card, letting them realize with growing horror just how badly they'd misread the game. First, a casual display of knowledge they didn't think you had. Then, a strategic move they didn't think you could make. Then another, and another, until they couldn't deny it anymore. They'd been outplayed by someone they thought couldn't even understand the rule. The meetings where you now speak up? Electric. The way they lean forward when you talk now, hanging on every word? Intoxicating. They're trying to figure out how they missed it, how they could have been so wrong. They're replaying every interaction, looking for signs they missed, clues they overlooked. But the truth is, you didn't hide clues. You hid in their blind spots, in the places their ego wouldn't let them look. Some of them are angry. Good, let them be. They're angry at themselves more than you, even if they won't admit it. They're angry that their supposed superiority was an illusion you allowed them to have. They're angry that every time they laughed at you, you were laughing at them harder. They're angry that the hierarchy they thought was set in stone was actually written in sand, and you just revealed you've been holding the tide back this whole time. Others are trying to recruit you now, aren't they? Suddenly you're valuable. Suddenly you're worth their time. Suddenly they want to be associated with your intelligence. But they're not seeing you, they're seeing what you can do for them. They don't want your friendship, they want your power. They don't respect you, they fear being on your bad side. And that's exactly where you want them. Desperate, uncertain, and very, very careful around you. Being underestimated is the greatest gift your enemies can give you. It's like they're handing you a loaded weapon and turning their backs. Every time they dismissed you, they gave you power. Every time they overlooked you, they gave you access. Every time they underestimated you, they gave you another advantage. And you collected these advantages like treasures, knowing that one day you'd cash them all in at once. You understand something fundamental about power that they don't. It's not about being seen as powerful. It's about being powerful when no one's looking. Real power moves in silence, grows in shadow, strikes from unexpected angles. You built an empire while they thought you were playing with blocks. You mapped their weaknesses while they thought you couldn't read a map. You became indispensable while they thought you were disposable. The funniest part? They trained you. Every condescending explanation taught you how they think. Every dumbed-down instruction showed you their blind spots. Every time they excluded you from something too complex, they showed you exactly what they were protecting. They gave you a master class in their own defeat, and they paid you to attend. You got a front row seat to their vulnerabilities, and they held the spotlight for you. Now they know, now they see you. But it's too late to close doors that have been open for years. It's too late to guard secrets already spilled. It's too late to build defenses against someone who's already inside. You're not knocking on the door of success. You built a tunnel while they were reinforcing the locks. You're not asking for a seat at the table. You own the room the table is in. So how does it feel to finally stretch those intellectual muscles in public? To stop pretending words are hard when you could write circles around them? To stop playing small when you were always larger than life? It must be intoxicating, this freedom to finally be yourself, or rather, to show them who you've always been. The mask is off, and what's underneath is more terrifying than they ever imagined. You're not seeking their approval anymore. You never were, but now they know it. You're not trying to fit into their boxes because you've revealed you were never in the box to begin with. You were studying the box, understanding its construction, figuring out how to dismantle it from the inside. And now that you've stepped out, they realize the box was never containing you. You were allowing it to exist. The dynamics have shifted permanently. Those who once spoke down to you now choose their words carefully. Those who once excluded you now make sure you're invited. Those who once laughed at you now laugh nervously when you make jokes, unsure if they're the punchline. You've become unpredictable in their eyes, and unpredictability is terrifying to people who thought they had you figured out. But here's the thing. You haven't changed. You're the same person you always were. The only thing that changed is their perception, their understanding, their ability to see what was always there. You didn't become smart. You revealed you always were. You didn't gain power. You stopped hiding it. You didn't transform. You just stopped pretending to be transformed by their limited vision of you. Now they're scrambling to adjust their worldview. Some are trying to claim they always knew you were brilliant. Let them lie to themselves. Others are trying to figure out if you have dirt on them from all those unguarded moments. You do, but that's not the point. The point is, they now know that every moment of condescension was witnessed by someone who could understand exactly what they were doing and why. The paranoia is delicious, isn't it? Watching them wonder what else they missed. Watching them question every interaction, every assumption, every person they've dismissed. You didn't just reveal your own intelligence. You revealed their stupidity. You showed them that their judgment is flawed, their perceptions are limited, and their superiority is a costume that doesn't fit. Some will try to test you now, to find the limits of your intelligence, to prove to themselves that you're not as smart as you seem. Let them. Every test they devise tells you more about them than it could ever reveal about you. Every challenge they throw your way is just another opportunity to demonstrate that you're not playing their games. You're playing your own, and they're just NPCs in your storyline. The really smart ones, they're quiet now. They're the ones who realize the full implications of what you've done. They understand that if you could hide this level of intelligence for so long, What else might you be hiding? They're the ones who now question everyone they've dismissed, every assumption they've made. You didn't just change how they see you, you changed how they see the world. But this isn't the end. This is just the beginning of a new game. Now that they know you're intelligent, they'll try new tactics. They'll try to outsmart you openly. They'll try to trap you in intellectual debates. They'll try to find your weaknesses, now that your stupidity is no longer available as one. Good, let them try. You've been preparing for this game longer than they've known it existed. You see, revealing your intelligence wasn't about revenge or validation. It was about positioning. Now you can move openly. Now you can make plays without having to pretend they're accidents. Now you can speak truths without wrapping them in confused questions. You've graduated from the minor leagues of pretense to the major leagues of open warfare, and you've got years of intelligence they never knew you were gathering. The best part? They still don't know everything. You revealed intelligence, but not all of it. You showed them you're smart, but not how smart. You let them see the tip of the iceberg, and they're so shocked by that they haven't realized there's a mountain underneath. You're still playing dumb in a way, just not as dumb as before. You've simply adjusted the performance to a new level, and they're too relieved to understand you at all to realize they still don't. So what's next? Whatever you want. That's the beauty of being underestimated, and then revealing just enough truth to shift the game. You're no longer bound by their expectations of stupidity, but you're also not limited by their understanding of intelligence. You exist in a space they can't quite define, and that's exactly where you want to be. Undefined, unpredictable, unstoppable.